This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Well, the benefits of Reiki as a distance healing energy modality have widely been known, and the practice of sending Reiki in absentia isn't new, but most recently, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, distance healing has come into focus. And yes, it's been vital in sending this life force energy to all those people in need. Aside from the healing, the energy balancing qualities of Reiki, a holistic health practitioner or anyone who receives Reiki attunements may deploy the distance Reiki method alongside other practices or modalities. And we're excited today to talk to our expert here again, who's going to elaborate more on this. Kristina is joining us here from Astraea Healing in Arlington, Virginia, and really, we're going to dive a little further into the services that she, does. And again, we're going to talk about Reiki for daily activities, events, travels, relationships, you name it. But first and foremost, welcome back today. And if you don't mind, just introducing yourself and sharing a little bit of your, personal experience with energy work. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. It's a pleasure to be back and to be able to discuss at greater length the benefits of distance Reiki. As you mentioned during the introduction, I'm based off in Arlington, Virginia, and my practice offers three energy healing modalities: Reiki in the traditional Usui system, sound healing, and voice spectrum analysis. And all three modalities are offered online. My business is exclusively based online, and I owe that mostly to the benefits of energy healing being able to transcend time and space. As we're going to see in today's discussion, I'm going to discuss how Reiki can be used as a vehicle to send this life force energy to enhance our daily activities and also to help us in our holistic health work as practitioners. I know that a lot of us who do Reiki also are masters of many trades, meaning that people who do Reiki typically also do include other modalities as well, such as sound healing, or some people also do yoga or other holistic health practices as well. So what I would like to offer today briefly are some tips on how someone who has been attuned to Reiki 2, that is the Reiki level, which allows a practitioner to send Reiki via distance. So how a Reiki practitioner at level 2 might be able to use Reiki on their day-to-day life activities, including incorporating it in some of their other practices, depending on what these practices might be it meditation or to enhance one's sleep. Also, I'll go into a little bit of a detail on how to combine Reiki with sound healing. So with that said, for anyone who is interested in, I would like to showcase some of the free specials that I offer for anyone who is interested in a free Reiki session. They can visit my website at www.astraeahealingconnection.com/specials. I offer monthly specials for Reiki healing and sound healing as well. And I do offer consultations for people who are interested in taking Reiki training with me, or who are interested in the modality voice spectrum analysis. The consultations are by appointment, and all sessions run on US Eastern Standard Time. So without further ado, I'd like to dive into the first aspect of how I use distance Reiki. That is most common in our day-to-day basis. We travel a lot, and some of us commute via public transportation.
Car, bus, train. Yep, we do it all.
Bus, train, airplane. Exactly. So there is a quick fix that I have learned a long time ago, And this was a tip that was handed to me by, as I mentioned, my puppetry teacher. I used to do puppetry a long time ago, and she was a very excellent and unique Reiki practitioner. So she had given me some tips on how to use Reiki during travel. And those have been invaluable tips, and I would like to relay some of those for our listeners here today. So ensuring our safe commute on a daily basis may sound trivial and something that we often may take for granted, but adding a touch of distance Reiki to our travels could go a long way depending on our circumstances and our environment. So here are the tips that I mentioned.
Sure.
If you have your own vehicle, you may start by drawing the power symbol, which is Chokurei, on the outside and the inside of the vehicle,
Okay.
as well as your steering wheel.
Oh.
Then you may proceed with sending distance Reiki to the entire route all the way to the final destination. You may visualize your route and draw the Reiki symbols in the following order, starting with the first power symbol, Chokurei, then the distance symbol, Honsha-zei Shonen, and finally completing the cycle by drawing Chokurei again. I have observed that this approach helps with easing the commute, and ultimately it makes the trip more pleasant, more enjoyable, also ensures getting to the final destination in a timely manner. Of course, I'd like to throw in a caveat here. I would not recommend testing the method by deliberately leaving late or creating other circumstances that may interfere with your timing. Trying to get in risky maneuvers is also not recommended because Reiki is just an enhancement. It is not a saving grace. It is not a guard against frivolity. So please be careful and cautious as you drive. And yes, do use Reiki and do rely on this method, but don't get into risky maneuvers. If your travels involve public transportation, if you're in a big city, for example, or regardless, even if you are traveling by plane as well, you may Reiki your space by using Chokurei, and then you can also use the same method that I just described to send distance Reiki to your route. Basically, for travel purposes, you can use the Chokurei symbol to Reiki the vehicle of travel, be it a cab, for example, or as I mentioned, my puppetry teacher used to tell me that she would Reiki the entire plane. Yes, she was that adventurous. So if you feel that adventurous, feel free to draw Chokurei on the entire plane. You can draw it on your plane seat if you'd like to. And in terms of the actual travel itself, that it proceeds smoothly, you may just send Reiki via distance for point A to point B, and that would do the trick. That I have used with great success. It also helps if you're if you feel like you're getting lost on the route and you're driving. Just think Reiki, think Chokurei, and think Honsha-zei, and that will give you the confidence to find the right path. So I would highly recommend Reiki for travel, and don't underestimate it. It's a powerful tool. And then we proceed with live events, which can occasionally catch us off guard if we don't have much time to assess and analyze the situation from various perspectives before we take action. Occasionally, choosing the optimal resolve may involve employing a new perspective or even stepping completely outside of our boundaries or the box of thinking, or as we call it, the comfort zone. I have come to appreciate Reiki as a great means of aiding in those times when conventional wisdom or sometimes even analytical thinking may not offer satisfactory decisions. They may seem not to our liking. The distance Reiki formula, which I have used with good success, involves the familiar sequence that I just described. That is the power symbol, Chokurei, then Honsha-zei Shonen, and then again Chokurei to complete the cycle. The recipe for this method consists of 3 steps. From your own perspective, you would have to clearly outline the situation that you're dealing with. You may want to write it on a piece of paper or
Mm-hmm.
hold it in your mind, and then mentally draw the power and the distance symbols, as stated before, and then complete that by drawing the power symbol again. In your mind, you will ask Reiki for assistance with the most appropriate resolve
Okay.
of the situation. You can name the situation however you can best describe it given your circumstances. I know this may sound complicated at first, but it is a relatively simple 3-step approach, and you can repeat this routine depending on what the request involves. In doing so, I would recommend that you always maintain the intent for the most appropriate outcome to unfold given your circumstances, without framing a specific outcome, because
Yeah.
sometimes we may not be very clear as to what outcome may be in our best favor.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it is good to just let the energy do the work in a manner that is most suitable for us given our circumstances, without trying to foresee an outcome or trying to predetermine the outcome itself. The main benefit in this exercise stems in facilitating the optimal resolve in a given setting, which may not be visible from the
Mm-hmm.
current vantage point. And usually, as a result from this technique, either the dynamic of the situation is going to shift in a certain
Yep.
way that becomes more comprehensible or more tolerable to an extent, or we're going to gain a new level of understanding into it, and that is going to enable us to take the necessary action in a timely manner. So it is not creating a specific result by using Reiki. It is not sorcery by any means. It is not
Yep.
casting a spell. It is just sending this healing energy, this fundamental life force energy to a situation just to aid the resolve that is most beneficial for us.
Beautifully said. Thank you so much. And if you are just tuning in, just want to remind you here, we're ecstatic that our guest is here and from Astraea Healing Connection. So we're excited to talk more to her about this distance Reiki, this amazing modality. And it's helping, as she's saying, in all different aspects of your life. So yeah, we are breaking it down. We're talking about travel. We're talking about everyday situations. I mean, energy healing really can go a long way and do so much for someone at events as well. And we're going to discuss this more. And just to let you know, she is available and she is virtual, which is amazing because this is the type of stuff that you can get done anywhere. Maybe you have a relationship problem. Hey, guess what? We can send energy too. We'll talk more about that in just a sec. And again, thank you for being here. So, where did we leave off? We did travel, we discussed some events.
Yes, and we're jumping into relationships. And when I say
Ooh, this is a
relationships,
good one. Everyone listen up.
yes, I know. I'm sure everyone will be tuning in right now. Yes, when I say relationships, I don't mean personal relationships. It could be any relationships that we maintain throughout our life. It could be friendships. It could be associations with co-workers. It could be, of course, personal relationships as well with significant others and so forth. It could be relationships with children and such. So this is an all-comprehensive approach, which works again very similar to how the other two approaches, especially the one with events, where we send Reiki to the situation with the hope and with the intent for the best resolve without creating a resolve in our mind beforehand. So relationships do represent an inseparable part of our life path, be it professional, personal, or among relatives, as I stated, and friends. We move within certain circles, in and out of various involvements throughout our lifetime. Most often, these connections originate from soul contracts and prior incarnations. Whether we believe in that or not, that is basically the case. While embodied in our current lifetime, we have relative freedom in how we handle these interactions. If a challenging dynamic within a group or between two people appears hard to comprehend or difficult to overcome, which is very possible, sending some distance Reiki may be beneficial in harmonizing the interaction or helping us gain a better perspective into why it is that the interaction is difficult to begin with. In this context, I would like to emphasize that sometimes harmony or harmonizing the interaction may come from removing oneself completely from the situation or relationship or circle of friends or even a work environment, as the case might be. Therefore, we should not have the expectation that Reiki would fix or would work wonders to smooth the edges, but it will bring light into whatever aspect of the respective interaction needs healing the most. And most importantly, it will give us a better perspective into that situation in and of itself. So the following approach works outside of time and may effectively bring healing to past involvements as well, which is the interesting aspect of it. The Reiki does work outside of time, as we have noticed, with the sending distance Reiki to our commute implies sending it into the future in a sense, and the same way we can heal the past as well. Similar to sending distance Reiki to events, this technique also involves the familiar 3 steps. First and foremost, I would recommend clearing your mind and setting the intent to heal your relationship with the said person, group, or organization, as the case might be. Then mentally draw the power, the emotional, and the distance symbols as follows. Chokurei, Seiheki is the emotional symbol, then Chokurei again, then Honshazai Shunen, which is the distance symbol, and then Chokurei again. Basically drawing Chokurei after each symbol. And these are symbols, as I mentioned, which are specific to level 2 Reiki. Then in your mind, ask that Reiki heal the past, present, and the future of your relationship with the person, the group, or the organization, as the case may be, and bring harmony into the present now. You may repeat this exercise daily or weekly, depending on the nature of the circumstances and depending on what feels right in the current situation for you, until you notice a shift. And as I mentioned, the shift may be in your perception of the situation, the shift might be in the situation's dynamic, the shift might be anything in the surroundings that changes, and it may be very subtle. So be on the alert as you start exploring with this method for slight changes, because Reiki works in subtle ways, so you may not necessarily see a monumental shift, although you might, but more often than not, my experience has been that the shifts have been slight, and they first occur in our perception in the situation, and then something else shifts so that the dynamic changes altogether. And in using this approach, I would suggest, as previously stated, that you always maintain the intent to heal the relationship through sending distance Reiki, not to harmonize by asking for a specific outcome or not asking it to fix anything specifically. Since we operate in a 4-dimensional reality, time parameters serve to enhance the request and make it relevant to our current moment at the present. The future aspect involves not just this lifetime, but potential future incarnations that may be forthcoming, while the past encompasses events from this or prior lifetimes. So it is essential when we set requests that we anchor it in the now. So whatever we want to heal and bring the healing into the present now.
Wow. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right. And we still have more time left. If you are here listening, I want to point out, Kristina, you do offer initial complimentary consultations, correct?
Yes, I do. So anyone who is interested in Reiki training but isn't familiar with it or would like to get an idea of who I am as a person and just meet me virtually, they can schedule a Reiki training consultation. Those are basically upon request and based on my availability. And Amazing. As I mentioned, they run on Eastern Standard Time. Yeah. So whatever the time zone is, just do the conversion and I'd be happy to chat with you.
What about for this, right? I'm going to give a yawn. It's a Monday, we're allowed to yawn, but for sleep, I have trouble sleeping, especially on Sunday nights. And I know meditation and sleep, these are two of the things that could really help with, right?
Yes, meditation and sleep are essential, especially the first sleep. We cannot be functioning humans without sleep. So yes, there are a couple of tips I could offer for enhancing sleep and meditation too. So to secure a good night's sleep and safe travels as one journeys through the various realms of the consciousness while asleep, the following simple, again, 3-step technique may be applied. Again, I recommend clearing your mind to the extent to which you can. I know that the daily chatter can interfere. And also clearing the room. Once we have cleared the mind, we can clear the room with the Chokurei symbol by drawing it in all corners of the room, including the windows and the door. Then we can clear the bed by drawing the choco ray symbol on it as well. And once we are comfortably lying in bed and tucked under our sheets, we can set the intent to sleep soundly and visualize the following sequence of Reiki symbols. Again, choco ray, the distance, the emotional symbol, say hey ki, choco ray, then the distance symbol, honsha, and finally the power symbol, choco ray. If you're a Reiki master, you may also add daikomyo, which is the master symbol, at the end of the sequence, but that is optional. You may proceed with doing some self-Reiki as you drift away. I have personally noticed that placing my hands on the heart area helps me fall asleep almost instantly, and I practice that daily, and I'm very happy with this approach. I must say that it never fails, especially doing self-Reiki after you do the clearing techniques.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Well, oh, go ahead.
Yes, and I was going to add, if we have a little bit more time, I'd like to give some brief tips for meditation practitioners.
Sure.
I'm sure many people out there have their own practice of meditation. If you have one, depending on your preference, you may incorporate distance Reiki as a layer of protection. Most guided meditations include setting sacred space and offer an affirmation intended to ensure safe travels. Whether your routine includes guided or freestyle meditation, adding some distance Reiki at the beginning of your journey would create a safe pathway for the entire experience. What I have found beneficial is to mentally draw the power, distance, and master symbols as I set my intent for the specific meditation, be it guided or not. I visualize the symbols in the following order. Again, the power symbol, choco ray, the distance symbol, honsha, and the power symbol, again, choco ray, and finally the master symbol, daikomyo. The master symbol, daikomyo, is optional, as I have stated previously. I have added it in this sequence since I have noticed that it does bring much light into the overall experience, depending on what your meditation may be and where it may take you. I know people do shamanic journeys, which I have also experienced with, and I do use Reiki with the shamanic journeys as well, and it has helped me ensure safe travels during that journey too. So any type of meditation or any type of other state of consciousness that you may choose to go into, you can use Reiki to enhance the experience and to keep it safe.
Beautiful. Thank you. Wow. There's still so much you could do. And can you give Reiki to yourself?
Yes, you can send distance Reiki to yourself, and I highly recommend that. I do it myself on daily basis, and I actually prefer it to the hands-on technique. Hands-on I use when I want to go to sleep because it does put me in a sleepy mood when I do it. But the distance Reiki I do typically in the mornings, and I do 5 to 10 minutes of it for myself, and that ensures that the day goes smoothly and that I have the energy. And the energy is absorbed in tranches as we need it throughout the day, and I have found it to be much more efficient than doing a full hour on myself of actual hands-on Reiki. This is how I actually decided to go for the online business, because I've noticed that distance Reiki is equally potent. I'm not trying to downgrade the hands-on experience, not in the least, but distance Reiki is more suited for the busy lifestyles that we live these days.
Sure is. And we really do live busy lifestyles. And by the way, Reiki is not only good for, us humans, you do it as well for pets, correct?
Yes, you can do it on your pet, depending on how receptive they are. I'm sure most pets like to be scratched or stroked, so you can use Reiki while you're petting them or scratching their belly or just playing with them as well. If they have the patience to be in your lap and sit there patiently while you do Reiki, feel free to do that as you stroke them as they're sitting or lying down. But for the most part, if they're the playful kind, just a little bit of Reiki here and there, you can send distance Reiki to them as well, the same way as you would send to yourself. So yes, you can use Reiki for pets in all the varieties that it comes, hands-on or distance healing as well.
Beautiful. Unfortunately, we are out of time, so we have to kind of sum it up a little bit. How did you want to end off?
That's a good question. I would say don't be afraid to experiment with Reiki if you're a Reiki practitioner and you are just trying to find your round, trying to figure out how to use the distance Reiki. I would say experiment and make Reiki your lifestyle. It is not just something that we do to ourselves once or twice a week or for a client. It is a way of life and it is a way of perceiving the surroundings as well. It is, yes, Reiki is the foundational energy and it runs through all of us. So it's good to acknowledge it as such and live a Reiki lifestyle.
Great. Thanks so much for being here again. Pleasure having you.
Thank you for having me on the show.
And how can we contact you?
Yes, it is. My email is info@astraeahealingconnection.com and the website, of course, www.astraeahealingconnection.com.
Beautiful. Thanks so much for being here, Kristina. Enjoy the rest of your day. And thank you
so
for
much for
enlightening
having me.
all of us. But we'll talk soon. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.